we felt the team would rebound after the first game of the season. So that resiliency and that determination and sense of purpose is pretty well set as a personality of this team. Now, does that mean that we're going to win by 10 or lose by 4? Whatever the result is will have no bearing on how the players rebounded it. It will indicate what the performance was on Saturday, but everybody in the organization, the players and the coaches, are rebounded. You know, if bouncing back means rebounding, everybody's over. We understand it. You know, we lost the game. Okay? We're very disappointed in losing the game, but we understand why we lost the game. You know, it wasn't as if the score was 50-10 and like, you know, what in the world happened? There's just a few of those plays that had tipped the scales in our balance the previous games. For example, we beat Middle Tennessee, whatever the score of that game was. What was that, 23-21 or something of that nature? Well, during the course of the game, Chris Long blocks a field goal. It's 3 points the other team doesn't get. Last Saturday, Chris Long blocks a field goal, but it finds its way over the upright. Okay, same effort, basically the same performance by Chris Long. The other team gets 3 more points than when it happened the previous time. You know, those are the things that when the game was over in previous games, we had a surplus of to our opponent. Okay, this particular game, we got some of them like we have in the past, but we had a deficit to our opponent. So the opponent ended up with 5 points. We had a chance to tackle the player in the end zone for a safety. I mean, he's in the end zone. We tackle him, there's 2 more points. There's 5-point swing. Okay, now you could say it's even Steven in terms of numbers. So, you know, that's what the game was. It doesn't make the outcome any easier to deal with, but it certainly, when you deal with the psychology of results, it's a lot different psychology on a team than just did you win or lose. Those are the important things that we look at with the team. There's a number of different things that fall under, and human beings, and therefore a collection of human beings on a team, are directly influenced by the psychology of results. And how those results come about have a lot to do with your response to it, not just what the result is. This will be close up there as one of the fastest teams that we play this year. Right away, if Kenny Moore and the wide receiver, the kick return guy, Kevin Marion, Alfonso Smith, you know, if those guys all lined up together, you could probably find any one of a lot of people to make a fourth, and you'd have a real good 4x100 team. And so those guys can all get up and go. I mean, Marion's number is incredible. He's 25.5 high school long jumper. He was the national title holder in high school, not the state title holder, the national title. He had clocked 10.21 100 meters. I mean, who in college football runs that? You know, so this kickoff return that he had last week, it was over and done before it got started, and so they've got a lot of speed. They got a good balance of that. They're a very athletic team, and all 3 of their units are very proficient. Obviously, their special teams have been excellent. Their defense, scoring a lot of points. They've scored 9 touchdowns. 9 non-offensive touchdowns this year and 12 in the last 2 years. So, you know, they're the defending ACC champions, and as such present to us certainly our most challenging task of the year. They're the defending champions. We don't have a lot of background in them with them, and they do quite a few things that there's no carryover from any other previous games to get prepared for these systems. They're very well coached. They don't beat themselves. There's a specific way they want to play, and that's how they're going to play. Okay, nothing's going to change it. Okay? There's a way they want to play, and they're very comfortable playing that way. Players clearly understand it, and they're whatever it is, 11-2 or 12-2 in the last 2 years in the ACC. Nobody else can say that. You know, nobody else is close to being able to say that. So clearly, they've established that they're the team to beat, and until somebody does so, they're the champions. So we like the challenge, but we certainly see it as a significant challenge. Did a remarkable job of stepping on there, and he obviously is is having a remarkable career for them. We were very, you had to be impressed with what he did last year just as a casual observer, but with the opportunity to study tapes of many games, he's a very impressive player. I mean, last year he completed 67% of his passes. This year he's completing 72% of his passes. Those are awesome numbers in any system. It means basically call a pass almost any time that you want and it's going to be completed. That's a pretty nice feeling to have when you're calling those pass plays. So, and he clearly is a player that that the other players draw from, and just what we see, what we hear, that his presence, the confidence that he brings in being able to pull the team through in whatever type of circumstance they might face gives everybody a lot of confidence, as we see with some of these teams that particularly a couple of them who are getting ready to play next weekend, how everybody really draws their strength and confidence from them. So he's really the catalyst of a lot of things. You know, we've tried to, either with certain individuals during the course of each particular week or a particular day, try to pay attention to those guys, Jeff, that we think might need it in terms of a little bit more rest. And certain days backing off with a few things, but we try to make it a point to make sure that we're ready and to take their input. You know, that's one of the things that that you want to take input on, and input comes in two ways. One, input comes in watching, and they tell us a lot by how they look, and then input also comes just by asking. You know, and how do you feel? You need a little rest here? No, I'm ready to go. Or yeah, I could use a few plays. So we've tried to take that as a principal thing here the last 3 or 4 weeks. Really, for the first time ever to play a large number of plays in sequence. He'd been in the games before, go in for a play on nickel or dime, where he had to gear it up every play against a real good player. He was very competitive against a player who's been around college football a lot more than he has. He had significant plays on the ball, and when Bowens did make a play, they were very contested plays. And in speaking to him and some others, I mean, I likened it to a guy who's playing defense in basketball, and he's guarding some guy, and this guy got, 34, 35 that night, but he was in his face all night. The guy was just making him. It didn't mean that the guy played bad defense, and the guy was just making him. Well, it was one of those nights the other night where the guy was going up and making the play. And Rasai has very good technique for the stage of his career that he's in. Now, is it a veteran's technique? It is not. But when he gets the chance to develop some more of those skills, those techniques will come too, and he'll add those to his ball skills and his awareness of the ball. And there's every expectation he'll be one of the better defensive players around here.